Alright, we are back with another review. This time we are reviewing Connecticut rappers Witt Lowry's newest album, If You Don't Like the Story, Write Your Own. This is a 16-track, 1 hour, 1 minute long album. There is no track on here that is short. I mean, looking at the track list here, nothing dips below 3 minutes. And it's, if you know anything about Witt Lowry and his work, then you should know to expect this project to be a project of vulnerability and honesty. And I feel like that's a pretty big staple of Witt's career. If people aren't really aware of him and his work, I know there is a meme that, oh, all Witt Lowry does is rap about his girl problems, how his heart's broken, or how he could be better. And, you know, I can understand where those memes come from, but I do want people to know that there is more depth to his music than just, I lost this girl and it hurts, right? You know, maybe that's something that sticks out more because it's more relatable for people. Losing a significant other is relatable. We've all kind of been through it. Most of us have. And if you haven't, then, you know, you're just lucky. I don't know what to really say to that, but I would say that if you kind of buy into that meme and really believe it, maybe look into more of his work, because every single album has had more than just, this girl broke up with me, now I'm sad, and I'm better than your new man. But this new album has 16 tracks, like I said. This is 16 tracks of rawness. You wouldn't really come to expect anything else from Witt, so it is nice to see that he's kind of still going on with that style. And after all of these years, he hasn't really mixed up his sound as far as I'm concerned. I kind of feel like, you know, a few of these songs I listened to, and as I was listening to them, it was like, okay, like, that's that Witt Lowry cadence that I'm used to. That's the cadence that I've come to expect from him. So stylistically, it doesn't feel like much has changed. He's been gone for a few years or so now. I believe Never's Road came out in 2019, and if it did not, I'm sure I'll leave an editor's note, because it wouldn't be the first time I had to do that. But 16 tracks, rawness, openness, honesty. But how does it sound sonically? Never's Road sonically did not entirely jive with me. And it seems like maybe that was a widespread thing, because I believe he does mention that Never's Road was not well received by some. And some people were not a big fan of it. I can see why. Sonically, I was kind of like, not really my gig. I'll stick to I Could Not Plan This, your last album, at the time when Never's Road released. This album, it's a bit of a step up, right? All 16 tracks. Sonically, I'm not into all 16. I would say maybe the first 8, the first half, sonically kind of had me roped in. I would also say that's probably also the more shallow part of the album. You kind of like dipping your toes into the mind of Witt Lowry, and the second half you kind of get into it a little bit more. But the second half is also kind of where I get lost sonically, especially when I kind of feel like Off the Strength was kind of a random track. Kind of comes off as a track that I'd hear in like a sports game where they're trying to like hype you up for a big match, or just big menu music, right? And I'm sure there's some substance to that song, but off of face value, off of just the sound, it's kind of like, okay, like, this is a song I could kind of, you know, kind of warm up to, get hyped to, you know, whatever you want to do. Put down the Metro Boom and put down the Future. yeah, I mean, sonically, the second half just didn't really jive with me. Still really raw, still really open. I'd argue it's probably more raw and open than the first half, where it talks about home not feeling like home, talks about some girl issues, kind of leaning into those memes after I just defended him. Not being into tiny shiny objects, self-titled. It's the shallow. It's the shallow side to me. And I'm kind of disappointed that stylistically he hasn't really moved. But this is also he's a few albums deep in his career, right? So I guess for me to expect a stylistic rap change is probably a little wrong to expect. It is nice to see that he is continuing to be raw and open. These are the things that people love, right? This is what he kind of built his career off of. He's independent. He's an open, raw, honest rapper. You can relate to him. I lost my dad. I lost this girl. This didn't go right. This didn't go right. This went right. Oh, I'm doing this pretty well and I need to acknowledge it. These are relatable human events. And that's kind of what he banks on, right? I know it's been a few years since he's made Never's Road, and I'm not sure what exactly happened for him to take that hiatus, but if you don't like the story, write your own. It's a good album if you want somebody to relate to. I would actually say it's an even better album if you want someone to relate to. It's a good album if you want something sonically. The first half jived with me. I've seen some people say the second half worked for them more. Obviously, we're all going to have different opinions. I haven't really seen any negative feedback on this album, but the reviews on Witt's projects kind of seem far and few between, so it's a little hard to gauge there. And with that said, I think I'd have to give this album an 8.4. I wouldn't recommend the entirety of the album to somebody. Maybe like a few songs here and there, oh, like, I know that you're kind of going through this. You should probably listen to this song, and maybe you'll find some relatability. You'll understand that, hey, you're not the only person who's kind of going through this. And I'm sure people are probably going to say, that's corny, it's how to do. But I just realistically, I don't see many ways that you can recommend some of these Witt Lowry songs because of how raw they are. More of the ones where he's, talking his shit and being like, hey, like, I'm doing this, and, people need to recognize it, and I'm succeeding, and I'm an independent rapper, I'm doing it by myself. Those I could see, but maybe not the more raw, open, honest ones that his fans have come to love. But if you listen to Hometown, Tiny Shiny Objects, or Weak, those are my 3 top songs on this album. If you listen to them, let me know what you think. They're good or they're bad. I'm delusional. I should have never reviewed this album. Just leave a comment. I don't even care. Leave another album for me to review. I might review it because reviewing is cool. It's fun. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. Hopefully you did. And wait, if you are watching this for some reason, bro, this was a good album. Keep it up. Editor's note, Never's Road was in 2019. I knew it. I knew it. What can I say? I'm just that good.